This is a ZombieVerter. It is an aftermarket brain for electric vehicles. It's designed to make hybrid or electric car components work outside of their native beings, if you will. You can't just remove everything out of, let's say, a Toyota Prius, all the electric components, shove them into a different vehicle and have it work. So this, offered by Damien McGuire and EVBMW.com, this circuit board allows us to run a number of different vehicles. I'm jumping ahead in this video. I want to give you a little background of where we're at. So I purchased this board. I've soldered on the connector to it. I've also made my own wiring harness. Well, technically I bought it from AliExpress, but I tethered it to the inverter connector. And when I got the circuit board, I also ran a firmware upgrade. As of the making of this video, this is running now version 2.05A. That's the firmware version. Maybe by the time you see this video, there will be a new version available, but that's what I have now. It's shipped with version 2.0. And I also calibrated the Prius throttle pedal that will connect to this brain, if you will. And it connects to the inverter. And that's what we're going to do now, is we're going to make all the low voltage connections, air quotes, to the inverter, to the brain, to the throttle, get the power from the actual car battery, and see if we can spin this motor. So let's go. Sorry guys, I think that is a bad angle, but I want you to see where I'm going to be plugging in the inverter in the back. I know you can't see me, that doesn't matter. So we are using a lot of OEM stock connectors on here. The beauty of this ZombieVerter VCU vehicle control unit is that we don't have to open up the inverter and that we can reuse the stock connectors. So here I have the stock inverter plug. I want to make sure I can make this go in the right way. So this will just plug right in, assuming I know what I'm doing. All right, so the VCU vehicle control unit plugs into the back of the inverter, and then from the inverter, the key connections are the resolver cables. So how tangled is this mess? Okay. So we have MK1 is on top of the transmission, and of course my blue tape is now all over the place. So a stock connection goes here to MK1 resolver, and these two separate wires are the temperature sensor. We're not really concerned with those, but I did wire them up. The goal here is being our first spin of the motor, right? Just get everything out of the way. And then this here is MK2. And this is the one I'm worried about, that I wonder if this will reach. I really hope it does. So MK2 is buried down there, and I kind of made this bracket that I'm not sure if I'll be able to plug it in with it on, but I'll try. Alright guys, here we go. This is going to be our first attempt at spinning the motor. Everything is wired. It got dark quick, so I didn't have time to show you how I wired everything. I hope to make another video. What I have here is a fused switch. This switch will turn on the VCU and it will turn on the low voltage inverter. So at this point, I can see some lights flashing. So that tells me the VCU is on. We're not really hearing anything. But now this is a bench power supply. I think this one here is only 30 volts, 10 amps. Now, I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but there is a whine, faint whine coming from the inverter. That is a good sign, okay? So it's not drawing any amperage. So I have my throttle here. The throttle has been calibrated. Nothing is happening as I press the throttle. I do have forward, I'm sending 12 volts to the forward position so that it knows it's in drive, if you will, but it's not spinning. There could be a number of problems here, okay? I think there's an interlock or some sort of a lock on the battery plug thingy. So maybe I need to plug in the battery connector in there. I don't know. I don't know what would check for that. I don't know if our VCU checks for that. There's also that whole shifter thing on the transmission, the pole, if you will. I'm telling the VCU we are in forward motion, but I don't know what's telling the transmission that we are in gear. So that might be a problem. And I don't know anything about this electronic shift. So it just goes, I think, park, drive, and reverse electronically. So I may have to tinker with that. But it's not uncommon to fail on the first try. So this is a failed first spin attempt. Sometimes it's worth sharing this stuff because we learn from it, okay? Let me bring you around and show you how the power is wired. So here I'm just gonna bring you around and show you that there is no pre-charge. We do need pre-charge when we go, production and want to drive the car. But we don't have to pre-charge anything because this is only 30 volts. Even if it was 60 volts, nothing would happen. And I've spun a Lexus motor with just this bench power supply, so I know this is enough juice. I mean, I could try the 60 volt one. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think not enough power, this being 300 watts, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's something else, some sort of an interlock issue, or this parking pole thing doodad down there, black device with the tape. And some of you might be laughing, saying, yeah, you idiot, you gotta shift that into gear. But I don't know. I'm learning. I'm trying to figure this out.